In the second part of this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to copy and paste layers into new comps, and also combine the compositions. Like if you have 3 or 4 compositions, combine them in one final comp and export it as one movie. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, so here I have 3 separate comps. I'm going to go ahead and let's see, which one do I want to use. Let's say I'm going to use this shape layer. This is the one with the line. Let me see what's the other one that I have here. Maybe I'll use the circle. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these 2 layers, copy them. Go ahead and make a new composition. Make sure it's 5 seconds. And I'm going to choose zigzag. This is the new effect I want to add to this just by itself. And I'm going to paste the 2 layers into that comp. Now I'm going to go ahead and take out some of the effects that I've added here. So I have my elliptical, so I'm going to get rid of the wiggle. And if I go, let's see here, maybe I'll just get rid of the dashes. Maybe I don't want any dashes. You can just click the minus key to get rid of that. So all I want to have the circle, and I'm going to just add the wiggle. Maybe I just want the circle to kind of close up a little quicker, so I'm going to open up the trim path so you can modify this particular comp without affecting the original one that I made here. So simply by copying and pasting the layers into a new composition. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe add from my trim path, add zigzag, open it up, and you can kind of see that automatically it adds the zigzag effect. Maybe I don't want that to start right there. I'm going to go ahead and choose 0, 0, and now I get rid of that. Come back here and maybe choose 20. And maybe just maybe add like 10 or 10, and go back here, and you can just kind of play around. Let's say if you want to do maybe back to 0, and maybe this time just do like a lot more. And you can also remember, you can also animate the stroke. So if I come back to my stroke, I'm going to go back to this option here. The stroke width is 30, so I can come back here, maybe change the stroke to maybe 10, and then maybe over here, actually I'm going to use the arrow keys. I think that would be that better, and just maybe do 20. And then go back to, let's see here, still, so I'm gonna maybe choose 30. So you can kind of just play around with these settings. So now I have movie, and I'm gonna just actually rotate this as well. I'm gonna come back here, close this up, open my transform tool. Maybe if I want to rotate it from here, so I'm gonna choose rotation. And remember, for rotation you also need at least 2 keyframes. So click the keyframe, and the first keyframe set has to be, everything has to be on 0. This is the degrees of rotation, and this is the first number is the full circle. I'm gonna go back, maybe move it to a different time, and maybe I'll just do one full circle, and I'm gonna move that all the way to the end. So if I come back here, and I can move this however, you know, just kind of play around with the settings. So here I have this circle, and it moves, and it's moving fast because it's only 5-second animation. And again, you can go back and modify these settings to however you wish. That you think, you know, if something is not playing smoothly or you need it to play faster, slower, you can just go back with these arrow keys and just sort of change the segments, you know, so maybe you can do more or less and that sort of thing. So let's say I have my zigzag, and it's also 5 seconds. I'm going to save the movie. I'm going to go back to my final comp setting, and this is set to 10. I'm going to change this to 15. And here you can kind of see my work area. The light gray area is basically what's going to be recorded or exported out. So you want to drag this to include your entire composition. So I'm going to go ahead and now bring the zigzag in. And this is like a flaw in After Effects that hopefully they can fix, this error message that keeps popping. So I'm going to go ahead and shape layer, trim path. Okay, so I don't want this shape layer trim path. So if I double click on this, the actual composition, it'll take me to the original. So I'm going to go back here. This one I just have the, actually I do have shape layer trim path. I'm going to go maybe, I did have both of them. Maybe I'll do the circle. I just want it to be a little different so we can, so if I do that and make sure you press, oops, and accept it. Now if I go back to my final comp, you see that it automatically updates. So I have my shape layer path, this one, and this one. So I have my 3 comps with the title card. I'm gonna go ahead and export this out. You could simply drag this comp. Okay, so I'm gonna actually make sure my render queue is visible. If it's not, make sure you go to render queue and simply drag this comp over here. You can leave the settings as is. Click on this, you know, make sure you save it to the folder that you have your After Effects files in. Or some of you, if you're working on a PC, you've been having some issues with that, with the render queue. So what you could do is you can just export Adobe Encoder. And it's going to take a while for it to pop up. And there it is. And you want to make sure it's set to QuickTime, and you want to press this option. And that's how you can export your videos, multiple compositions into one final comp, and export it either in render queue or media encoder.